Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Deathmatch Russell Podcast. Let's get it on! Come into the ring, step into the fire, see what you want, baby. If your heart has desire, and get out, get knocked down. Deathmatch Russell Podcast, Deathmatch Russell Podcast, Deathmatch Russell Podcast.
Good evening, everyone, and you're listening to another episode of the Deathmatch Russell Podcast. And my guest at this time, he is the ravishing daredevil himself, the Body. How you doing, man?
Good, yo. Thank you for having me, Russell. It's a pleasure to be on here, and we're gonna have some fun for the next maybe 60 minutes.
60 minutes, and then we go on until sit back and listen to the Rob Black podcast.
Oh, we're opening tonight. We're opening for the Rob Black show. We're like curtain jerking.
Yes,
show. He's the main event.
Yes, Oh, I bought a couple hemorrhoid creams too for later.
Dude, the hemorrhoid versus the foot thing. I was telling my girlfriend the comments. I'll say this: XPW's fans might be the funniest fan base. The stuff that you guys come up with is funny. It's great.
It is, man. You gotta have humor, man. Where is it? If you don't have humor, where is it, right?
And comedy is a big thing that I always used as a white noise. If I just wanted to get away from everything and chill out and disassociate from the world, comedy was always the thing to do.
I'll tell you what, man. I had the pleasure, actually. I went to see Jim Brewer, the comedian. Jim Brewer.
Sick. Yep, I know him.
And I went up to my dad and I were on a little camping trip, and we saw him up in the mountains, Poconos, and so we got tickets, and this guy comes up to us. We were sitting on the back row, and then this guy's like, "You want to sit up front? Fifth row? Okay."
Yeah.
And then weeks later, I sign up for his Patreon, and he looks for guests to come on.
Right.
His pod. I'm like,
oh, did you do his podcast?
I had him come on. Yeah, we talked wrestling.
Awesome.
We talked because don't forget, he did the skit with Chris Farley. He did a spot with Chris Farley as the Ric Flair.
Right. Do you remember the Pizza Hut? He did the Pizza Hut commercial where he pretended to freak out and he threw the PA in the water. Yeah, Jim. Yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah. So that was kind of a cool. I saved the video. It's up there.
You know,
my podcast.
You know who comes? You know who comes to the California shows? Earl Skakel, the from the Comedy Store.
Oh, okay.
He's a West Coast guy, but he's hilarious, man. But yeah, he's another top dude.
Yeah, sweet. But all right, let's start this wrestling conversation, huh? What got you started as a kid? What got you hooked as a kid? What got you involved growing up?
The first time I ever watched wrestling was my buddies. We were, I think, in grade 3. So however old you would be turning then. And he had a sleepover with a couple of our boys, and he ordered the Great American Bash 2008. And it was JBL and John Cena in a parking lot brawl for the main event. And the match that stuck out for me most, though, was Shawn Michaels versus Jericho. It was the last night WWE ever used blood. Because I don't know, I guess Shawn Michaels went coast to coast, opening himself or whatever, but he was fucking leaking, yo. And yeah, you obviously remember it. And that kind of hooked me in, and I was a huge Shawn Michaels guy. And then when I got into high school, you start smoking weed and you realize how shitty sitting here, learning about all this dumb stuff is. So I was like, I'd rather be broke and do something that I love, or at least try to. And I kind of thought it was impossible to find a wrestling school. I was like, I don't even know how one would get involved into it, because I wasn't really a big indies fan growing up. It hadn't been exposed to me. I just kind of knew what I had seen on TV. So I had no idea really how to get involved into it. And when I typed in pro wrestling schools near me, there was one that Santino Morello opened up, Battle Arts Academy, that was less than 20 minutes down the road, So I'm one of the best nicest wrestling schools was 20 minutes from my house, and I had no idea this whole time. So
Wow.
it's something I always tell people. It's just like, it's so much easier to get started than you think. There's wrestling schools everywhere.
Well,
yeah.
it's pretty wild. It's like where Iron Mike Sharp ran his school in my township.
Right.
Iron Mike Sharp,
and every town
wild.
has that Iron Mike Sharp or some guy that opened up a school and he's teaching kids
Yes.
there. So yeah,
and I always tell a story that like I go for $5 with my dad on a Saturday night and watch wrestling over there.
Right on. Do you remember any of the guys that you saw there? Did they end up doing anything? Or
actually Nova from ECW?
Yeah, I remember him.
Because his brother ran that promotion, Phoenix Championship Wrestling, that one that Chad worked with.
Right. Oh wow,
co-owner.
How long's he's been doing it forever, eh? If you're saying from then,
yeah,
like he's been promoted, like
yes, yeah,
that's
in the mid '90s, man.
The fact that he hasn't burnt out and he still works at the rate that he does, he loves wrestling, wrestling. So yeah, you need more of him.
But yeah, to see him and it was insane. Like they would bring wrestlers in every week. Like, it was just a good local wrestling, man, like independent wrestling, Samoa Joe, like early on, like you don't get the peak.
I feel like even the shitty indies back in the day were still better than like majority of the indies now. Like I feel like wrestling as a whole was just a lot better because it was so much more included, right? But I can't talk shit because I'm also allowed in it.
But also, what was cool is Freddie Blassie would be there too, as well, walking and watching the shows, and X-Pac as the 1, 2, 3 kid,
as hanging out, crushing pills.
Yeah, no, as the 1, 2, 3 Lightning Kid, wrestling as the kid.
Was he in contract? Was he with WWE when he was doing it?
No, he was still wrestling. Yeah,
it's pretty sick.
Hell yeah!
But cool name.
Also, and let me ask you this: what got you hooked onto like deathmatch wrestling?
So I wanted to do wrestling. I wanted to do wrestling for a living, and it didn't matter where I was gonna do it. And I knew I'm not the tallest person, and I kind of saw the writing on the wall. Like WWE's looking for these 6'5" monsters, and I'm assuming AEW is pretty much the same. So I knew that I would have to take more. Like I idolized Jack Evans a lot growing up because he kind of took an approach.
Dude, he was one of those guys who could fucking do some insane moves,
right? He was even it was tougher for him because he was doing it at a time where there was no exception really. Like you had to be X, Y, and Z, or they weren't even going to look at you. Now at least if you're over enough, they'll make an exception. But he went to Mexico to make his stuff work, and I kind of always saw that as a place that I thought I could do something. So my buddy from Quebec over here in Canada, he went down to Mexico, and he met a guy named Lowrider who's married to Sadika, the deathmatch worker from
Sadika.
So that's her husband.
She's she's one of the toughest bitches, that.
Yeah, she's wild, and behind the scenes too, she's just she's a wild person. What you see is what you get with her,
Yeah, she's well known,
but she's well known. He ended up getting, long story short, he got me a job with DTU to go work down there in Mexico. And the agreement kind of was, if we don't know who you are, if you're going to come down here, you're going to have to bleed for us. So I just went, you know what, it's either I say no and I don't go to Mexico, or I say yes and I go to Mexico. And I had one death match prior with Jules Malone, who took really good care of me, and she was cool. But when I went down there, the first night I was going into the match, I have no idea what I'm walking into, and then,
right. Oh man. And then, and then you just, all the years just watching all the old school CZW to the original stuff that was out there. How'd you find that? Like CZW, and then
so CZW is kind of what I grew up on when it came to extreme wrestling.
Yeah.
I know some guys might have watched stuff from Japan or IWA, but for me,
the JC Bailey, the JC Bailey era,
not even a little bit later, Matt Tremont, Masada, DJ Hyde was still going. Because
Yeah.
when I went down to the States in 2018, I went to go train at CZW, and that was before I even went to Mexico. So that was kind of the first, looking that I had into deathmatch wrestling. And one guy that I really like kind of took a lot from was Joey Janela, who was he stopped doing deathmatch at that time, but he was still doing like really high impact, crazy styled matches. So he was a guy that I kind of based a lot of shit off, and he pretty much hooked me into it.
Actually, he's one of those. Actually, in his career, he started at 16. I saw his career. I go to those shitty shows to watch him wrestle. I watched. I grew. Watching him wrestle.
Being in Jersey, like I always say this as an outsider coming in, like you guys have it so fucking good. You're in the hotbed, like the mecca of deathmatch wrestling is New Jersey.
It is, dude. It really is. New Jersey and Texas. Texas people.
Well, Texas, I feel like they got their goings when COVID happened because the rest of us couldn't run, but they had laxer laws. So like Loco Wrestling, I'm good friends with the guys from there. They started like that, and they were like going, like selling like 300 people, like Rompus environment.
Bringing Game Changer Wrestling. And bringing GCW with them, and it's awesome. Yeah,
they did it right.
Now, have you ever traveled to like Europe or anywhere where?
No. Farthest that I would have wrestled was in Mexico. Obviously, I'd be cool to go to Europe, but there's right now, like I'm excited for what XPW has for me, and that's kind of
like
main focus.
Yes, because you're the future, and you have a lot of things, good things. People love you. We love you. Everybody loves you. You're well respected, and people don't get that shit. No problem, my friend. And we're gonna be friends till we die, which is a cool thing.
Which might be sooner than later. Who knows? You've seen that roster.
Yes, and I, and over the years I've seen them wrestle. It's pretty like, that combat zone.
Like I'll say, there's been nobody in life or out, like in wrestling or just in life, that hits harder than Necro. But that guy is an absolute mutant,
dude.
Like just.
Let me ask you this: How was your back that night? Oh God,
bro,
dude,
it was like my elbow was fucked up. It was, but you know what? Going into it, so I knew going like maybe a month out that's what it was going to be, because you can obviously see how I was building it on the podcast and shit. And
I know.
Obviously a direct, like we had a plan and whatever. So it was. I knew from a while out that it was going to be a long night. I was going to earn my paycheck that night.
Watching those spots on the guardrail, dude. Your back must have killed you.
Yeah, it was. As I dropped my, you made me think about it, and I had PTSD, and I dropped my vape. It was a long night, but he was such a professional. He was so cool to work with.
I know.
We got to drink some beers after together, which is obviously like what you do it for. So I knew there's always going to be prove it matches, and that won't be the first time I get slammed on a guardrail hard there.
No, more to come. Different stuff though.
Sign
or dives, now. Right? Dives, right? Or dives. You never know.
Maybe. I mean, fuck, if I would have gone for a dive, he would have just held up the guardrail in front of the ropes. I feel it would have been horrible. Best I stayed. I felt the safest spot was on the ground.
Yeah. He did just he
did a number on me. Yeah, we know.
But but no, it was good. It was really, And
no, I'm happy with it. Yeah, it got a good reaction, and like I said, that was the plan going in. So I'm happy.
And wait till you come to Jersey and wrestle whoever. It's going to be Sexy Eddie, right? I believe.
Well, fucking Sexy Eddie texted me the day after saying that he has another booking that day. So fuck you, Sexy Eddie. I wanted to do something.
Cool fuck you. Oh shit, man.
Yeah. So I don't know who I'm working, but maybe an open challenge. Maybe Mittens. Maybe we'll cart Mittens' ass out there and let me go at him. Get my first win.
I have one of his shirts.
Oh, let's burn it. Give it to me. We'll burn it in the middle of the ring.
All right.
Get us kicked out of the hardball. for sacrificing one of Mittens' shirts.
Yes.
That thing's probably soaked in acid. from
I
Atlantic
know.
City weekends. That thing would go up in flames and
Mhm.
it would burn your eyebrows
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. I'll have to grab you a Deathmatch Russell shirt.
Oh yeah,
I
fuck
have
yeah,
one.
yeah, please, I'll wear it.
Mhm.
I'm a sucker
And,
for free shirt. I think every wrestler's a sucker for free T-shirts.
free T-shirts and free cozies. You know, I still have my. I'll give you.
I'll take a
Yeah.
fucking cozy. Yes, please, dude. Yes, that's
I-
that's my girlfriend's Christmas gift.
Yeah. All right. Please, yes. But yes, but no, it's gonna be, it's, you know, we're ready for it. Like, it's gonna be awesome. Like,
Yeah, my takeaway from the ballroom show was that was such a loud crowd, and it was such a fun venue. It was like a little micro ECW like one night
Mhm.
stand
Mhm.
arena. So it was fucking fun being in there, and I've watched a lot of ICW shit. Like, I haven't seen like the actual shows, but I've seen like the clips on like Deathmatch Elite MDK Club, and I
Mhm.
think we outdrew their asses because I've never seen it that packed for an ICW show, and you might know more than me if you've gone to one, but
I've been to one. I've been to the Necro. I went to the very first Necro and Schlack one that they did.
Right on. Was that the
That thing.
first one? Was Jimmy Lloyd on that show? He did one of
I
the
think
original
so.
shows. Yeah, I think he might have done the second one.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Jimmy
then we-
Lloyd.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a crazy night because Nick was there. Yeah, it was crazy. He was looking up at me. He said, "What's up?" You know, look it up because I'm sitting up in the nose, balcony row.
Who Gage?
Mhm.
Yeah, he's a nice guy too. Great dude. Funny Gage story. I drove him. I had to go pick him up when I was living in Jersey. He knew that I was staying in my car, so he needed. I guess he had a weekend of wrestling, and he wanted to go put his cash in the bank. And I go to pick him up to go take him to the bank, and I drive him over to the closest bank that was near his house, assuming that was the one that he signed up to. And he goes, "Yo, dog, like, we have to go to another bank." And I was like, "Why?" He goes, "This is the one that I robbed."
Oh, it's crazy.
I drove Nick Gage to the fucking bank that he robbed by accident.
Yeah, I've carpooled with him. Yeah, he's a character.
Funny guy though, right? Like he has
yeah. Because, but I've had my actually. I like telling the story how Game Changer, their very first 2 shows, I believe, or 3 shows, I've had Syncope Extremo.
Yeah, he's the
at
best.
my house.
Syncope, I just talked to you this past weekend because I knew when I lived down in Mexico, his English has gotten like really, really good, yo. You can have like good conversations with that guy now. So
yeah,
it's crazy how fast he learned it.
So they crashed at my house. So I was like the summer host, you know, like
they went to summer camp.
Yeah. But you know, and I've had the rejects at my house too. I've had.
Yeah, and that guy John. I don't know the other dude that well, but Murdoch Reed, such a fucking nice guy. He deserves #1 wrestler of the year.
And I've had Cole Radrick.
Yeah, another good cool guy.
He was still training. He was still under the training at the time. So that was like homeless, and also homeless Jimmy stayed on my couch. Yes,
that's funny. When was that? Was that recent?
No, that was back when homeless Jimmy came to GCW in Howell, New Jersey for one of the shows.
Wow. I didn't know he did. I didn't know he did Howell. The Howell
because he took on Danny Havoc. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't know much of homeless Jimmy. I get compared to him a little bit from like the old school XPW fans. I gotta research him more. Like I gotta go back and watch more of his stuff.
Yeah, he's still, you know. Well, he's retired, of course, you know, but he still goes out once in a while, wrestles, you know.
Yeah, everyone's retired until they're not, you know.
I know. It's like Matt Tremont, but he still keeps on going. Yeah,
you said it.
But of course, like Nick, but he's still good.
Yeah, he's on like legend status though. Like he's like he doesn't. He only does like the big money ones, and it makes sense. Right.
But so yeah, let's talk. Like, what was it like for CZW? Like you saying watching CZW, and
it was sick because it was the perfect thing to hook me because it was before CZW, and I'm not like saying this out of left field. I love CZW still, but I would say
I
remodeled their company. You know? It's not what it was, right? And it's the old show, the old shows were obviously insane, and I was lucky enough to be at Cage of Death 20 at the ECW arena, and this is a good Joe Gacy story, I guess, where just how good of a guy he was. And I don't really know Joe Gacy that well, but he was the guy teaching the classes. At least he had one of the nights, because they had different trainers for different nights. And Joe was training a lot of us, so he knew like that we were like putting in work on the Wednesday dojo shows and stuff, and we kind of maybe wanted to be involved. And I'd driven down from Canada, and I'd been living at the Sanctuary, this wrestling place in Hazelton. So I was staying down there, and then making the drive over to Voorhees, because that's where the dojo was at the time, to go train and wrestle there. So we were all putting in work, and like the students were obviously hungry, and like they've been the same students for how many years, and they've been just so loyal doing their thing. But
I know.
Gacy, he went and he made us all like druids to do like a run in, and Alex Reynolds cracked us all with kendo sticks. Blackwater, Eddie Blackwater came out.
Yes, and, Blackwater,
and started fucking cracking us. So he like didn't have to incorporate us all, but he like gave us all a spot at the ECW arena. So like to be from Canada and loving deathmatch, and then to be able to at least have had a small part in the history of that building, it was a cool thing that like he definitely didn't have to do. He could have just wrestled like Reynolds one-on-one, you know.
But he's like, you know, but look where he is today. He's still doing his thing.
Exactly, right.
He's on NXT. He's on NXT doing the characters. Still, he's getting paid. His character is still being shown, and we're proud of him. You know.
Yep.
It's crazy, man. These guys that you think you train with, you're like, holy shit, man, they're doing good for themselves, and they are
for sure.
Yeah. But you're on your own new level because extreme wrestling, like XPW.
Yep.
When you look back and buy the first DVD, you're like when we were kids, we didn't know what it really was. We had to research, Yeah,
the thing that's the best is like the company was started before I was even born. So it's like nuts to think that like Rob, because we'll talk inside, and I like ask him, I'm like, what were you doing like at my age? You know what I mean? Like I want fucking to interview him sometimes, and like figure out like what he was doing when he was younger, right? Because I feel like he's obviously a fun dude. I can't imagine when he was younger in like California running around, some of the stories this guy has. So obviously I try to beat some out of him.
Yeah, we'll have to beat him out maybe tonight. Ooh.
Yeah. If I get him in the corner, I think he's calling me for one thing only, and that's Mr. Hardbody's foot, because we got to promote a match, dude. Foot versus Hemorrhoid.
Yes. We need like a banner.
Yo, at yours. Bring a banner that says Foot versus Hemorrhoid.
Oh gosh.
And like drape it. And drape it over the balcony.
Like the we riot sign.
If Hemorrhoid wins, we riot.
Oh gosh. Yeah, we should. All right, so we'll mention that tonight on the podcast. I'll tweet that, and somebody will tweet that.
I'll bring up the Foot versus Hemorrhoid thing tonight if he calls. After the show, I'll just text him and say to call to put me on quick, because I'm sure he'll want an update about the more foot being cut off.
Yes, yeah, but yeah, XPW, man, really was like, you look back and the history and like the company really. It really
they drove ECW out of business. They ended as much as ECW will say it was financial stuff. Yeah, it was financial stuff because other people were putting their money somewhere else.
Yeah, but his big thing with Shane Douglas, dude. He wants that title back, dude. I don't blame him. I would run in.
Imagine Shane Douglas gets knocked out backstage because like he's not gonna fucking get through. He's gonna get.
Oh, that's right. Tonight on the podcast, he's gonna call him out on. Chad's going to try to snag the belt.
No, I don't think Chad's on Shane Douglas' side.
I don't know. No,
I don't even know, where does Shane Douglas live? Is he going to fly in to try to fight us to get the belt?
I think he's from Michigan, I believe.
So he might drive. That's going to be a long drive home. We're going to like beat him up and take his bag. I'm going to steal his wallet. That's going to be that thing.
Yeah. Shane Douglas. Yeah. Maybe you should call out. Yeah. Ooh, say Rob. I want to challenge Rob. Show.
I thought you were just going to say. I thought you were going to say, "Oh, maybe we should call Shane Douglas." You just call Shane Douglas.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, buddy,
yeah. Good night. Yeah, we got Shane on.
Shane Douglas now. We're gonna pigeon toss, yeah.
No, could you imagine if he called in? Oh my god, we would be get the angle that we need, because he still owes the belt.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Shane. The time that I've been with the company, I haven't met him. He hasn't been at any of the shows, so I don't know what the fuck he's about.
Yeah, he's a shitty podcaster. Also, that's about it.
Okay, yeah, no, I didn't even listen to him. I used to listen to wrestling. What we were saying earlier about comedy, I think it was before we went on. I used to listen to wrestling podcasts a lot as well, and now it's pretty much just only comedy podcasts or a couple sports podcasts as well. That's about it.
Yeah. XP. So anyway, as I was saying, DVDs. We bought DVDs as go to the store, like the video stores. I remember rummaging through the bins, the $10 bins or the $5 bins. You see on display the TV WWF and XPW. They're right there. I'm like, what's this all about?
You see Veronica Kane's jugs, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna pick. I think I know what DVD I'm fucking buying.
Yeah, I'm picking that one over Dixie Dynamite or something. Yeah. Biggest tits in the biz. Yeah. But well,
I get what it's an absolute legendary company, and that's why it's so fun to and so exciting to be a part of it, right? Because we're in the driver's seat for history, and every show we do is history. So I know.
And it keeps going. It's gonna be. It's just gonna keep getting better and better.
Yeah, and I said that I was on the phone with Jimmy Lloyd the other night, and I was like, it's crazy to think it's back. Like, there's no more talks about it. Will XPW survive? Will this? Will that? Like, they've just completely put themselves back in the talks of the top deathmatch companies in the world. So to have a small hand in that is obviously sick. And Rob's a fucking genius. So he's
cool awesome, dude. He's a good dude. He's a good person. He's a good person, man. He looks good and his health is good. So that's what it's all about,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's a machine, dude. That guy's up at 6 in the morning and just has a coffee and then just fucking goes the whole day without eating and just running a million miles a minute.
Then he bangs his wife, cat. He bangs cat,
That's so funny. He loves Ass to Mouth, though. We've realized that. If you're a fan of Rob Black Show, the amount of times he's crowbarred in fucking Ass to Mouth.
Ass to mouth, yes. But yeah, the angle, but we'll see what happens. Tonight's gonna be fun. Tonight's should be really a good one. I can't wait. So fans, if you what we're talking about, there's just Rob Black. Just gotta listen to it. Great podcast. Just all around.
So I'm filling up my vape juice. I'm doing a pit stop here.
There you go.
I can still
yeah, I know. So as we were saying, you said Bailey, or I said Bailey.
Yep.
JC Bailey.
Yep.
And the early Drake.
Oh yeah. I was a fucking idiot when Drake's like, I'm gonna give you my finish on a chair, and I'm like, oh, that's easy. And I later going and seeing the stuff that he did back in the day, I'm like, oh, this guy took it fucking easy on me. I'm lucky. That was it could have been so much worse. He was a psycho, bro. Some of those. Did you see the DVD he did off the top of Cage of Death?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wish I was rep for Hall. I was there for the Joe Gacy era,
Yes, that's when I was kind of watching or there.
The Cages of Death, and the best of the best, and just all the good.
I think they're bringing all those back too.
They are in their little studio, same place though, down there in Blackwood, I believe. Yep. So, but. Yeah, and I'm curious. Shall we have a studio? That'd be a studio show. I'm curious now, bro.
We were running at the Danger Zone, Rob's spot in Rochester, so we had a couple of shows there. But I haven't heard anything about any of that. They got so many dates. Stuff, Did you see how many dates they just pumped out? We're fucking.
I know.
Dude.
I know you are. I'll probably just make all the Jersey ones. I'm going to do all the Jersey. I can't make it. Cali. I'm not a Cali person. I never ventured out.
No, it's far. Yeah, no, I get you. You remind me of the fighter that knocked out George St. Pierre. Wasn't it Michael Cera?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Google Michael Cera. It's a compliment. But yeah, that's who you remind me of.
All right.
You're giving me UFC fighter
Also-
energy.
Oh God, Riddle, right? No.
Oh,
Brock
don't
Lesnar.
even.
Uh,
You know what's fun?
But,
It's a fun fact.
yeah.
Riddle fucking cheated on. I had a transgender chick that I was dating, and Riddle cheated on her with while I was dating her.
we got Michael.
So I don't know. Riddle's got his number again. XPW 0, Riddle 2 when it comes to smashing their broads. You're speechless. You either froze or you hate transgenders. I think you froze. We'll get out of here in a minute. Like I'll say, I'll wrap it up in a minute. Well, I gotta go see my dad. It's not like I'm going to bed as much as I would like to. Alright, what the fuck's going on?
All right, we're back. There we go.
Alright.
We got my
What's up? Yeah.
stuff. Oh. Back. What the hell? I'll get myself over. Here we go.
Yeah. It keeps cutting out.
There we go. Yeah, you know what it was? Lag.
All right.
There's always lag and
Right on.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
It's
just
the
my bad. I
Wi-Fi.
feel bad it keeps cutting out on you.
No, that's okay. That's all right. It's what it is, right?
Yeah, you gotta kind of
technology.
roll with it.
But yeah. So yeah, like Drake Younger, man. Looking back at I actually got to see him at Jersey All Pro Wrestling. Like,
Yeah.
watch his.
Another one. I know we've said it so many times, but he was a guy. And I knew of him, obviously, right? But when I met him and just the whole night, he was a fucking pro, and he made me look so fucking good, and everything was so easy, and he knew exactly what to call, and yeah, he's like, I would say out of pound for pound wrestlers and like deathmatch guys in our locker room, he's the best. Best all around, just performer wrestler. He's
Best,
just
yeah, I know, best wrestler. Yeah, and a referee too. Former referee. Yeah, former referee. Yeah,
Yep.
That's insane. But dream matches, man. Who are top 3? If you have
I
to
would
pick?
love to wrestle Angel at XPW. I feel like that'd be a cool little passing of the torches kind of thing.
Mhm.
Obviously Schlack, and then believe it or not, Sexy Eddie is a guy, because we have something cooked up for you guys that is so fucking insane. It is gonna blow their fucking minds. It's too hot for deathmatch wrestling. It's too insane for deathmatch wrestling.
I remember. You know what I remember? I remember. I went online, and when GCW came and Sexy Eddie came, right?
Yeah.
I bought squirt cock guns.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's the man. He's the fucking man.
Yeah,
Dude, on social media, all he posts is he cleans his house just drunk in his boxers.
I
Is he not the
know.
the best husband? Name
That's
a husband
great.
that's gonna do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
crush
yeah.
some Four Locos, wear a funky shirt and some funky underpants, and clean the house all day. Fucking sign me up, dude.
That's it. But
can we, not to wrap up right away, but maybe in the next 10 or 15, because I do have to go visit my dad in the hospital. So
go ahead.
Not to cry, whoa, but yeah, I gotta go.
But anyway, let's just wrap it up. We can wrap it up. We're good.
Awesome. You're gonna be listening to the Rob Show tonight.
Yeah.
I'll shout out that I did the show today. I'll say I did the podcast today on it.
Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Here. Follow the body, everyone, please.
You got a professional setup here, man. Fucking right.
I do. See, like we can hostages at the show too. Is that crazy? Like we could take this and go live, like for intermission. We could like take this and go live with my iPhone. Is that insane? Like,
yeah, no, you got it all down. I love fucking. You have all the Twitter, all the handles down. So, respects. All righty, man.
But everyone,
thank you for having me.
Yes, and see you tonight.
This just in. Breaking news: we have caught and compromised to a permanent end Osama bin Laden. I don't know about you. I feel proud to be American.
Woo. Yeah, like Necro, right?
Right on. All right.
Good night, everybody. Tune in. Yes, tune in next week at tune in Wednesday night on the Deathmatch Russell podcast. My guest will be Brawlin' Bo Cooper will be on the podcast.
He's the fucking man. Make sure you watch that. Bo's the fucking best. He's probably got some crazy stories. So yeah, you'll enjoy that.
He does. But fans, tune in tonight at 9 p.m. on Spreaker.com live with the Rob Black podcast, and you'll see the hard body in action. But you'll see hard body in action coming up in January 21st, back in the states of New Jersey once again, and the hemorrhoids will be flying and foots will be flying, and much more.
We'll have the feet and the hemorrhoids in jars you can take photos with for $5. We're gonna do Polaroids.
Yes. All right. Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. All the best.
Thank you for listening. Yep. Oh shit. That was my guest, The Body. Fans, I want to say thank you for him coming on. Get out to a show, XPW show, and check him out in Pomona, California, and on the East Coast at the Heartland Ballroom, Pomona, California. I'm going to re-say that. Pomona, California at the Derby Room. Go check out XPW. They have a lot of shows coming up for California and New Jersey, but New Jersey, January 21st. We are not your kind, as XPW presents. We are not your kind, fans. Get your tickets now to an XPW show. Order it on Fight TV and be there live. Watch these guys do their thing. It's XPW. It's extreme blood, ultra violence, and much more. Blood, comedy. You don't get that anywhere in wrestling. Good night, everybody. Tune in next week to the Deathmatch Russell podcast.
You can find more Deathmatch Russell podcast on the following. Just hit the like button and share. You can hear the audio portion of Deathmatch Russell podcast on Stitcher Radio and on iTunes. Social media, Deathmatch Russell podcast on Facebook, Twitter at DavidNJ32, Instagram, DavidNJ36, YouTube, David C. Russell, and DeathmatchRussellPodcast.com. Joners Wrestling Podcast Network. Head over to WrestlingWithJoners.com. Follow them on Facebook, Joners Wrestling Podcast Network. Twitter at with Joners _pod. I want to mention Collar and Elbow. CollarandelbowBrand.com. Use the promo code Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast and save 10% off when you make a purchase. Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast.
Be sure to visit BrainbusterTees.com for Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast merchandise.